everybody, it's Chugga Conroy, and welcome to the bonus video of Yoshi's Woolly World. This is a collection slash amalgamation slash mutation of everything we have not seen yet up to this point. There's a lot of miscellaneous topics dealing with Woolly World, and I aim to knock out every single one of them that I know about and every single one of them that you guys told me about that I thought was worth showing. So let us just get started right away. I personally like opening these videos on the beta and unused information before we get into the stuff that's in the actual game. I've mentioned that Yoshi's Woolly World was announced very prematurely, where it was a completely different game much more closely resembling Kirby's Epic Yarn. We only got a few seconds of gameplay as well as a handful of screenshots showing this version of the game at that point in time, and it demonstrates the main mechanic that Yoshi's Woolly World was going to be designed around. Yoshi would start out as just a piece of yarn, but as he would defeat enemies made out of yarn, he would be able to add it to his own body, gaining access to more and more of his moves until eventually he would consume enough enemies to become the crocheted form that you're just normally playing as all the time in the finished game. I can see where they're coming from and thinking this would be an interesting idea for a game, but I could also see it leading to a lot of levels feeling very samey and having to backtrack all the time just because you beat one enemy too few to have access to all your powers when they intended for you to have them. It's an interesting concept, but it's not very hard to see why they might not have gone for it. Woolly World then went missing in action for an extremely long time. It wasn't until Nintendo Treehouse Live at a few E3s later that we got another glimpse at Woolly World. And for those of you who always ignored the Treehouse segments thinking it was just Bill Trinen telling you kiddies how awesome and cool the new Mario game looks, I got news for you. They're actually pretty wild segments. They often show off developmental history of things or how they came to various decisions. They have the developers on as guests, speaking to the audience at home, and this was no exception. Here we see some potential possible titles, such as Yoshi's Beaded World, Yoshi's Sequined World, Yoshi's Zippy World, and Yoshi's Tubby World. These are not only planned art styles, but the Fluffy Wool power-up and the Zipper power-up were intended transformations for Yoshi to have during various segments of levels, and in fact, that Zipper transformation made its way into Super Mario Odyssey, so that should give you an idea of what kinds of level concepts they would have been able to make with it. There's this, showing what Yoshi would have looked like in his more outliney form. Again, looks very similar to Kirby's Epic Yarn. Here's a test showing what a level might look like in this style. I gotta say, Blarg looks significantly less threatening when he is less filled in than he already is. There's this change in perspective that I highly doubt is actual gameplay and is more just concept art. Then there's this image. This is the first image that was not shown off on Treehouse Live, but is instead an unused image that was found in the game's files by Twitter user Random Talking Bush. I much like your username. I like your icon even better. Now that I've thrown that statement out into the world, please do not change your icon to cannibalize children and make me look horrible when people go to your page and check out what I'm talking about. Hey, it's in theming with what this game is actually about when you really think about it beyond the art style, but enough about that. This picture seems to be an ending celebration of sorts. It's very similar to the thanks for playing screen that we ended up getting, yet there's Mii's present. Mii's aren't anywhere in the final game. Fooled ya. They're actually the proverbial billboards that served as Miiverse posts on the game's overworld that you can no longer view. And you might wonder why something as minor as the harbingers of Miiverse posts would be shown in the ending screen. Well, that's because Mii's were going to serve a much greater role originally. Because absolutely nobody misses Baby Mario and was asking for him to come back for this installment, Mii's were originally going to be Yoshi riders. You would be able to put your Mii on Yoshi's back and be a Yoshi rider yourself. Though it's not clear from any of these images what the benefits to this might have been, if anything. It might have just been a cosmetic thing similar to how New Super Mario Bros. U allowed playing as your Mii in various modes. Related is an early version of the pause screen containing early graphics, and in place of Miiverse stamp patches are Mii beads, or as I like to call them, Meads. Your guess is as good as mine, and my guess, all conjecture based on nothing, is perhaps Mii's would have had some kind of benefits, and by collecting enough Meads, they would unlock, just as how Yoshi's normal abilities would have unlocked over time. Among the other unused images that were found by Random Talking Bush is this right here. just a screenshot taken during development with a very weird aspect ratio, but it's pretty looking at least, and looks very much like Kirby's Epic Yarn. Ever wonder what this whole level would look like? Wonder no more, because he didn't just find a picture of it, he found the fully textured model data for this level hiding inside of this disc. There's this, which looks a lot more similar to the finished game, and Yoshi's life icon is a little bit suspect. They've said that Yoshi starts off as one piece of yarn in various interviews, and we've never actually seen this in-game. I'm wondering if that little light bulb-shaped head with the 2 eyeballs on it is what he was going to start out a level looking like, and he would just simply be a head that could stick out its tongue. There's this bonus room that has an enemy that ended up appearing in one level having a much more major role. He got ripped off, but who got even more ripped off were all those weird fluffy ditto things that are pointlessly here because they stuck springs over them anyway, so they're not even able to be bouncy. This icon, depicting said ripped-off enemy yet again appearing in the Curtain Falls levels, seems that you would have had to have used motion controls to shake them off of the curtain so that you could continue moving about them. Kinda glad they didn't do this. This original stage clear screen, which is also not the only early stage clear screen that we've seen. In the E3 demo, it was depicted in ribbons. And then this. A size comparison between Yoshi's yarn form and his crocheted form. NURBS is my new favorite measurement of size. NURBS. YouTube user Elios of the Abyss has uploaded to the cutting room floor page for Yoshi's Woolly World test levels that are markedly different from what we ended up getting. One of them just looks cool, nothing too special here. The second one demonstrates multi-plane 2.5D levels, which would go on to be the main concept in Yoshi's Crafted World, being shown here a whole game early. You just never know when all these cut concepts are gonna mean something down the line. You could be digging up treasure and not know it. The third one, dug up by another user named H2643. I too am a big video nerd, so I appreciate your name. They discovered a test room. It's not too unusual in modern games to make rooms that are little patches of realism just to demonstrate what the graphics engine is capable of, and that's what this appears to be. Though it is very charming to think that maybe this is some kind of gateway to reality from the imagination of whatever child is making all this stuff happen in Yoshi's Woolly World. Just kind of how I interpret it, and I wish that something like this was in the finished game. The last one is the level that was seen in the initial reveal back during that Nintendo Direct in January 2013. Even though there is multi-plane gameplay in that level behind the doors, none of it is functional. But I love that they left this in because it allows us more Snoopy types to see the rest of the level beyond where the footage cuts out and see that, yes, this was a real level that was cut from the game. If the music you've been listening to all this segment sounds like it's from Yoshi's Woolly World, but you're having a hard time placing it, these are 6 tracks that did not make it into the game but were composed for it by composer Tomoya Tomida. They were released for free on YouTube for anybody who wants to hear them, and I have linked places where you can listen to them in the description. I have to say, pretty nice stuff, and I wish more composers could get the authorization to do this. I can't believe that I almost left this out because it's amazing. The internal project name for Yoshi's Woolly World was Merino, after the breed of sheep that is bred for its wool production. Lastly, are 4 unused Miiverse stamps found deep within the game's annals. That third one is a horrible idea, and I see why they cut it. You know, let's give you your own template that you can use to make your own custom yarn Yoshi. Oh wait, it's only in black and white, so have fun all making checkerboard Yoshis. But the interesting thing about it is that this has actually shown up in another unrelated area. It is the same template as we saw in some Treehouse Live artwork of all the different stages that Yoshi costumes went through during development. Since Miiverse stamps are the in vogue topic right now, I will show you every Miiverse stamp on screen that we did not earn from collecting all the patches, as it wasn't my priority to do so. Also, these are starter stamps that everyone begins with. I never talked about them, so here they are. That is all for beta content, so getting back into the game itself, I got a few new things to show you, and I think Shiny Platinum Yoshi is just the man for the job. Going into 1-1, Yarn Yoshi takes shape. I'm here to show you that the play alongside Poochy badge is useless. I have just tapped the Poochy amiibo that was released long after the Wii U version into the Wii U version. This is the only later amiibo functionality that got patched in, which is completely asinine, as you will see later, because it is so stupid that they didn't patch in various other things. And I don't mean that they would have had to have done any extra work, I mean that they were lazy. You'll understand what I mean later. I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry, I get very heated about my amiibo functionality, okay? But you can tap the Yarn Poochy amiibo at any time to play alongside Poochy, and this is something that I was personally not aware of, and I thank you for telling me about. You know how when you die too many times in normal mode, you get the text box that's, hey, did you know that you suck? Well, if you manage to do that in mellow mode, then this rainbow-colored egg appears that makes Yoshi invincible to all but bottomless pits. It makes for some very awkward animations and makes me wonder if maybe the game wasn't designed with it in mind. So, Naval Piranha has an identity crisis. It turns out that depending on the official texts that you see, Naval Piranha has been referred to as male in the original strategy guide for Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, yet in the Super NES Classic Edition text, it is referred to as a female. Move over, Birdo. Naval Piranha is the new most obscure piece of gender trivia in the Marioverse. Oh yeah. Next, remember when I said that we could make an entire video talking about the amiibo functionality alone? Well, I lied. That's not the only thing this video is about. I'm sorry. I want to get into talking about every single Yoshi costume there is. First by visiting the Yoshi Hut. That's a grand total of, disappointingly, only 68 Yoshis that are available normally without any sort of additional paying. But there's actually a lot more Yoshis in the Yoshi Hut than first glance would have you think. If we were to go to, say, GameCube Yoshi over here and go to Amiibo, save as is or change color, scanning a Yarn Yoshi Amiibo will unlock 2 alternate costumes for every Yoshi. We have a gray GameCube here, but also the Spice GameCube. And that's not even the nuttiest part of all this detail. If you want to go into just how deep and how many art assets they would have had to have created, some Yoshis have unique templates for being turned into an egg. For instance, taking GameCube Yoshi again, turns into a little GameCube disc. I can't imagine how many artists and designers they had to have had working on this one game in order to get all of these hundreds of Yoshis and put this much thought and care into every one of them. It's unreal. A nice upgrade in the 3DS version that makes the question of which version to get even more awkward is that no amiibo is required to get the alternate colors of the different Yoshi costumes that we saw earlier. There's a... Lakitu, what have they done to you? I won't go through all of them, but check out your favorite Yoshis, scan an amiibo, and see if maybe the alternate costume is nice. This Apple Yoshi better have a Granny Smith variant. If it doesn't, I'm going to riot. And in fact, it probably won't because, well, no, there's colors that aren't normally there in these different color ones. Thank God! There is a Granny Smith Yoshi. We can sleep easier at night. And, ooh, an apple without the skin. That's actually pretty clever. Virtually every amiibo that existed at the time of Yoshi's World's release, with the exception of the Pokemon, yet not Sonic or anyone else, are in this game. I'm gonna go through all of them and let you listen to the Amiibo Hut music, which is some of the most peaceful sounding sounds that I think have ever come out of this disc. This is the kind of music that'll take your stress away around finals, at the beginning of a new semester, or anything in between, because let's be real, school never lets up. That's a lot of amiibo costumes. You got crazy crossovers like Pac-Man, yet not Pikachu for some reason. Apparently it was too hard to make it work, even though I don't imagine it would look too different from this. You have your Famicom Rob in addition to your NES Rob. They're actually distinct. And you have your regular Yoshi for you weird losers who don't like this art style. Okay, no, you can like anything you want. There it is. That is every amiibo costume in Yoshi's Woolly World. Sort of. There exist textures for a Korin Yoshi, which was not released at this point in time. In fact, it was very up in the air at the time if we were going to still be getting Cloud, Korin, and Bayonetta amiibo. Some people weren't exactly believers, yet these texture files found in Yoshi's Woolly World kind of gave credence to the fact that apparently they were on the way. Yet, even though the textures are there, and they did update the game around the same time for the Poochy amiibo to be compatible, nada. In case you're wondering about the Mega Yarn Yoshi amiibo, because it's probably the most famous piece of merchandise surrounding this game, it's not all that special in terms of functionality. It's just a regular green yarn Yoshi amiibo in terms of what it does. The only difference at all is that it unlocks a different costume in Super Mario Maker, but if you want it because it's just so cute, who can blame you? Now we move into Poochy in Yoshi's Woolly World, the extras that you will find in said game. It was such a thorn in my side, not really that hard, but a big thorn in my side, having to keep the wonderful world of Wool barely off screen so you wouldn't see that this egg would transform throughout the adventure, because I was doing this on an already completed save file. Let's talk about other topics that are only in the 3DS version. Remember that really cool puzzle that was at the beginning of Bowser's Castle, where if you're smart with your egg management and Yoshi costume choice, you can get through this puzzle faster than intended? Well, you know what? In the 3DS Mellow Mode, they did away with all that. Doesn't matter what Poochy Pup you throw at these Bowser heads, they all solve the puzzle! Ah! Amiibo costumes, yay! So, there are several amiibo costumes exclusive to the 3DS version, including the one that I've already told you that should not be exclusive to the 3DS version. They went to the trouble of making this game compatible with pretty much every amiibo that had been released. I've seen a few sources claim that Rob and Famicom Rob are exclusive to Poochy in Yoshi's Woolly World, but I've already proved that to not be the case. So without further ado, every new amiibo costume in Poochy in Yoshi's Woolly World. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been here for half an hour trying to figure out why I couldn't get the amiibo to scan in, and it's because you can't be in the amiibo hut to do it. On the bottom screen, tap the amiibo icon. It is not nearly as always on as it typically is in the Wii U version. Now that this has been discovered, I'm here to introduce you to, hailing all the way from the Super Smash Bros. Series of amiibo, Lucas Yoshi. His big shoes are kind of funny. Going through the Smash series one at a time, we have Roy Yoshi, Ryu Yoshi, the legendary Korin Yoshi, who actually looks a little bit different from his Wii U counterpart. Don't worry, our world isn't so far gone that there's a Cloud Yoshi and a Bayonetta Yoshi but no Pikachu Yoshi. They just simply scan as normal amiibo Yoshi. And furthering that, I should let you know that absolutely any amiibo will still get you the amiibo Yoshi costume at bare minimum. There is no such thing as an incompatible amiibo with either version of the game in a technical sense. For another quick amiibo aside, there is another figure on Nintendo's official website that claims it is compatible with having Yoshi costumes written to it that is not a Yarn Yoshi or a Yarn Poochy. Greninja. This is a mistake, and it cannot be written to. From the Super Mario series of amiibo, they went to the trouble of making a classic Wario. And you know what that means. If they made the entire line of Super Mario amiibo compatible... Hi, I'm Daisy! And yes, Walla Yoshi. I've never seen this one before, and I am scared for my life. Ah! The eyes! I was gonna call him Bushi, but he doesn't deserve a cute sounding name like that. Ugh, get it off my screen. I should mention that an amiibo set such as the Kirby series, those just scan in as the exact same Kirby, Meta Knight, and Dedede Yoshis that you get from the Super Smash Bros. Series. Alternate versions of the same character, such as turbocharged Donkey Kong, just scan in as a Donkey Kong. Yet you'll have some characters that didn't have Super Smash Bros. Amiibo but later got them in these series. In the case of, say, Waddle Dee here, he is a Yoshi. All of the Links and Zeldas scan is the same as well, but this one's a pretty unique form of Link, I have to say, and as a result, he gets his own costume, Wolf Link. Some characters got broken off into their own separate Yoshi costumes even though they were just merely recolors, such as Green Inkling Girl, Orange Inkling Squid Yoshi, and a serious official name of a real Nintendo character is actually Purple Inkling Boy Yoshi. They also added Callie. The good news about that is, it means they also added Marie! Now it gets complicated because there are multiple methods of unlocking every amiibo costume from here on out. First, we're gonna continue the streak of actually good characters with Isabelle Yoshi! Oh, she translated very well into being a Yoshi. What's complicated about Isabelle Yoshi? Well, you're able to scan her figure and get her, sure, but scanning the Isabelle amiibo card also works. On top of this, for some serious swag points, there was a Japan-only promo card of Isabelle that also unlocks this costume just because they were meticulous with the details. For those of you that unlock it that way, I would say that I respect you, but it's more that I share your pain because I spent an outrageous amount of money for that same card. And it's further complicated by the fact that there is a separate Winter Isabelle Yoshi unlocked with that figure or card. KK Yoshi, who has a guitar on his back, can also be unlocked either through his normal card or through his overpriced Japanese promo. The remaining Animal Crossing characters have all the same catches. They may be unlocked with their figure or with their card. Wow, Blather's Yoshi might be one of my favorites. So, I actually meant to scan in Digby first, and I forgot. Everybody always forgets Digby exists, except as, oh yeah, he's Isabelle's brother. Please give the poor boy a bigger role in the next Animal Crossing. It looked like Happy Home Designer was going to give him just that, but nope. Get it off my screen! Sable got robbed out of having an amiibo when she's the objectively better character. And that, ending on Lotta Yoshi, is every single compatible amiibo in both versions of Yoshi's Woolly World. The most egregious exclusion from the 3DS version is Chibi Robo, who Nintendo had the full rights to, but I guess it was just too hard to make a gray Yoshi with 2 black eyes. It's hard to know the exact total, but it's easily more than 150 unique Yoshis. It is crazy how much they gave you to work with. Also, why do I have shiny platinum Yoshi? Or is that just silver Yoshi? Okay, just silver Yoshi. For a second there I was like, wait, I didn't actually beat the Wonderful World of Wool, and I was very confused, but I was thinking, wait, crap, was I lying to you and didn't realize it? No, I'm missing the 5 flowers. Okay, good. I never thought I'd be so happy to not have collectibles for how I typically am with everything that I play. This isn't related to the game at all, but during this series, I want to thank not only all of you for watching, but also the people who sent in artwork for this series, because there was so much good stylized stuff out there, even things in unique mediums that I don't typically get sent, and you all did a fantastic job. This just goes to show how well Woolly World inspires creativity with its art style. But I guess that's it now. Thank you so much for watching, And thank you everyone who helped out with the production of this series. I think I've thanked pretty much everyone already, so I won't draw out this goodbye any longer than it has to be. Thank you for making this journey with us, and I'll see you guys next time.